I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. It is 4:01, and this is the City of Meridian Solid Waste Advisory Commission regular meeting for May 25th, 2022. We'll start off with roll call. Please identify if you are present. Kaylee Philippi.
Here.
Megan Larson.
Here.
Mark Nelson.
Here.
Rand Spywak.
Here.
Scott Walters.
Here.
Sean Keating. Steve Corey here. Taryn Richmond.
Here.
Tom Oddie here. And ex officio member Rochelle Klein. Quorum being present, we'll go ahead and move on. The agenda was sent out earlier, so hopefully you've had a chance to look at it. Are there any comments on the agenda?
Oh, Steve, sorry. Mr. Chairman, I can hear you now. I was an attendee and not a panelist, so hopefully you can hear me now. Sorry about that.
We can hear you really well. Mr. Chair, no comments, but I would move to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the agenda be approved as written. Are there further comments? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote, all those in favor of approving the agenda as written signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? The motion passes. Thank you. So the next item, I guess I should say, oh, wait. Next item is approval of the April 27th minutes drafted. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at those. Is there any comments?
No comments, Mr. Chair, but I would move approval of the April 27th minutes as written.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the draft minutes for the April 27th meeting be approved as written. Further comments? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote, all those in favor of approval of the draft minutes as written signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The motion passes. We move on to staff program reports. First item is the Trash or Treasure and Spring Cleanup Event recap. We'll start off with, Sarah Schultz, go ahead and take the floor.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about Trash or Treasure and Spring Cleanup Event, HHW, Household Hazardous Waste, and then the community outreach that we talked about last month. So looking at this year, our event, so I have it separated out versus the type of sign up that each household did. So if you look at the far left, scheduled bulky items. So that is individuals who signed up for both events who also wanted to schedule a bulky item for trash pickup. So we had 1,522 schedules. So that was a lot. And there was and this is only the online sign up form. Some people called Republic Services to schedule. So I think it's going to be around an additional 300, but I'm waiting for those numbers to come in. So this is just the online. So next one over is Trash or Treasure who wanted bulky item pickup. So just looking at Trash or Treasure, that was 778 Trash or Treasure people who also wanted bulky items. And then who only signed up for spring cleanup was 744, so just a little bit less. And then who only signed up for Trash or Treasure and didn't want to throw anything away was 192 households. And then a grand total for everybody, all signups, both signups, all households, 1,714. So up from last year. I'm actually, Waiting, our GIS specialist has been out for a week, so I'm waiting to get some numbers from him and Republic Services for multiple years, because I know we're missing some data from Republic Services to get a good count throughout all the years. Does anybody have any questions before I move on? It was definitely a lot busier, Republic Services said, but they did do a really good job at, obviously there's always going to be some misses, but I think, these are just the scheduled pickups. They had over, I think, 2,000 pickups, because some were unscheduled, just items, maybe next to a scheduled household that they saw, and they picked them up as well. So definitely was very busy this year. And then after this, there's some pictures that people sent in or that I took. And then, so we'll do trash or treasure pictures and then spring cleanup pictures. I actually it was a lot of fun. I went on a ride along with the bulky item pickup truck and helped pick up trash and stuff. So the pictures from spring cleanup are actually from me helping out doing spring cleanup. So trash or treasure. So a lot of people are really good about putting out those signs, which is really helpful. So there's some interesting things. A lot of pallets. That was a big thing. And then this is spring cleanup. These are the two guys that I worked with. The one with the sunglasses, he was a driver. And then the other guy with the hat and we were on the back of the truck driving around picking up items. So left side, for example, pretty big item that was left out. And then on the right-hand side, that's an example of a no item. Those are tires. So we had little stickers that we stuck on the oops tags and then stuck that with the item so people knew like why you didn't pick it up. Oops. And then the white truck, that is the bulky item pickup truck. So that's what I was on in the back. And then the one behind that was just a regular trash. So that's not always in tandem they drove, but in general, you would see the other trash truck or recycle truck driving around as we were driving around picking up bulky items. And at the end, we were probably 3/4 of the way full, but they drove to the Meridian transfer station. Obviously, this stuff is all compressed, but this is all the items that we picked up from around 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. that day. Okay, so does anybody have any questions before I move on to the next household hazardous waste updates? So the updates, I have a few of them. One, I just wanted to showcase here that I'm not sure if everybody knows, but at the landfill, you can go and you can drop off materials that are still reusable, and then other people can go up to the landfill and pick those materials up for free. And then this is just some information. It's open Friday and Saturdays from 8 to 6 p.m. There's no charge for households. The location is obviously the landfill, and then the limits is 4, right, Tom, per household? Okay, that you can grab. And then here's some examples of things that are up there that are free to pick up, which I think it's an awesome program to move things around instead of just trashing them. And then some other things that the HHW company wanted to let everybody know is they're fully staffed now. And they have, when you go to the Meridian transfer station, there should be 2 lines, so they are not congested on Franklin anymore, because there used to be like a long line, people trying to get into the transfer station office area. And in general, it's been mostly small businesses have been dropping off items, and they've noticed an increase in bulbs and latex that small businesses have been dropping off. Kind of interesting. And our numbers. So people are really using the Meridian location. We're actually pretty close to Boise HHW tonnage numbers. So we're definitely getting a lot of traction at the Meridian office location. Does anybody have any questions before I move on to the last part of my program report?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
one question. couple of neighbors asked as they were starting up spring yard work, how do I dispose of old gasoline without getting rid of my gas can? What kind of container would be acceptable to Republic to pour the old gas in that the engines were running rough and they wanted to dump them instead of, I said, well, you can get a chemical that will help winterize that gasoline, but they weren't sure what they should use. Milk jugs, you know.
Yeah, I think so. If you label it and it's tight, well, does it need to breathe, the gasoline?
Probably not, but it has to seal it. And most of those milk jugs had just a little plastic top. They didn't want to get it in their garbage can. I said, don't put it there.
No, yeah.
Take it to the annex. And but they said, where do I put it in?
Tom might.
Mr. Chairman, oh yeah, if Tom can,
Oh.
otherwise, Mr. Chairman, I can answer too.
Yeah, Rochelle, go ahead.
Okay, Commissioner Spivak, it would be totally fine to put in any type of clear container with a screw top lid and then label it what it is. So gasoline or things like that. So we just need to know what's inside. But you can put it in a clear container that with a screw top lid and then label it and then take it to the hazardous waste facility.
Okay.
I don't know, Tom, did you want to add anything to that?
Only with, when storing gasoline, leave a little bit of room for volumetric expansion because gas likes to expand. So fill up containers that contain gasoline to only about 75% volume, just in case.
Thank you. Additional questions or comments on the household hazardous waste update? Continue.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me? Oh. Sorry, my speaker was malfunctioning. Okay, so lastly, what we were, kind of alluding to last month is the outreach that we've been working on. So it is 98% done. There's a few things that our communication specialist I need help on. We need to actually do a different program to fix some stuff, but you'll see what it looks like. So there's 3 things that we are going to budget for. And then when I get to the story or the mailer, So the main thing, obviously, that is going to go on each year is the squishy water bottle recycling pilot project. So based on Conrad's, I think it was in October of last year, he did a presentation, and for fiscal year 21, it came out to $1,633.47. Part of it is, I think there was some halls that ended up being trash, and there wasn't much outreach. So we are thinking that with this new outreach, and hopefully less halls will be trashed, and hopefully there'll be more halls, we're projecting that the cost might be around $2,200 for fiscal year 22. So you guys would have to go to council for that. And then the other 2 items that we talked about are our outreach about squishy water bottles and just recycling right. So the first one is, or the middle one is the mailer, and Chair has, I'll put it on the big screen and talk about it, but he has an example of what it would look like. It would be a little bit glossier paper, but these would be mailed out to all households, so single family dwellings and multi-units. So it's around 48,000, almost 50,000 households in Meridian, and the costs for printing, putting the postal stamp on and mailing it is $14,638.24. That has gone up. The last quote, when I first came to you guys about doing this, it's gone up $700. So most of it's from postage probably and paper. And then the other outreach is a story stroll. And that's the one that's the yard signs that would be in the parks. And this quote, the cost $142.35. Actually, it hasn't gone up at all since October. And that is, right now we have 9 signs on our story, but this price is quoted for 10 signs. And that would be actually a mobile outreach. So that would go to maybe stay in Discovery Park for 2 weeks, and then it would move on to Story Park or Settlers Park. And yeah, so I think that would be fun for the kids and adults to see that. So I'll show that on the big screen as well. So this is what you have floating around. So on the first side, this is really just a visual, not a lot of writing. It's just for looks and explains basically the main things that you can put in your recycling cart. This is where I was talking about we're 98% done. We need a special program to remove the background because it's messing up with the cardboard. But here the other examples are correct. So this just explains everything is empty. You can leave caps on. As you can see, it's a spray bottle, the spray part, you remove it. So it's very visual of what's the right way to recycle. And the main thing, and these are the main no's of the MRF. Plastic water bottles isn't that bad of a thing, but what is really bad is plastic bags, glass, and especially batteries. So I sent this to the MRF for them to look at it and to really hone in on the things that are the main offenders that can mess up the whole recycle load, or it's a safety issue. And then the address window, and on the back is more of explanation of more of the rights and more of the no's. So recycling done right, that's the recycling right. That's a national campaign. So we're kind of jumping in on that with the language. And in addition, these no's are standard from the Recycling Partnership. So throughout North America, people are seeing more of these icons, this look. So it's kind of standardized. And I'm hoping, when you see it one place, you'll see it other places. And here explains a little bit more in depth about all the things that are acceptable, all the no's, same with the cardboard, metal and paper. And then here explains this is your curbside. And the reason why we say recycling cart and dumpster is we're talking about the MUDs too, multifamily units, if they have recycling dumpsters. And then we move into the transfer station. So, for free, you can bring glass to the transfer station. And we talk about, you can, if you want, have a subscription. And the no's on that. And then we talk about showcase what the roll-off looks like, and the squishy water bottles kind of explains why you can't put it in, and the no's, and then the information down below. And then we're also able to get a different handle or address, so it's solid waste. So we're just talking about everything, not just trash. So does anybody have any questions on this particular mailer that would be mailed out to every household?
Baird, if you shared that image with me, I could remove the background for you.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you. That looks great.
Okay. Is this something that you think would be, getting this in your mail would be helpful? And also I was thinking this front side is kind of, you can hang this on your refrigerator. It's just for a quick visual, especially for kids too. You don't have to to understand more, you want to read the nitty gritty, but just for a quick visual. And these are the pictures. We're still working on it, but these same type of look about the recycling and the photos, those are ones I'm proposing to put on the sticker that would go onto the top of the recycling cart. You'll see the same, and the nose too. You'll see the same thing everywhere you look. So hopefully that'll help. Okay, so if there's no questions on that, we'll move over to the story stroll. So again, each of these would be a different yard, a panel, a different yard sign. So unique to the Meridian, City of Meridian, residents can recycle squishy water bottles. How do you tell what is a squishy water bottle? Give it a strength test. If it easily gives with one hand and it makes a crinkly noise, it's a squishy water bottle. Do you know where they go? And then little kids, if they want, they could, follow the little maze to the Meridian transfer station, roll off. And down here it says, no, you don't put it in your recycle cart. These water bottles must be separated from other materials before the sorting process. Take your squishy water bottles to the recycle drop-off area at the transfer station. And then these aren't allowed. Jugs, juice bottles, and clamshells don't go in the bin. We specifically said clamshells because we've been seeing a lot of them in the bin. So we're really trying to focus on what we see that when Brianna and I went, the communication specialist, to the drop-off. The collection bin is located at the Meridian transfer station. And we did actually send this out to the wild to someone's first grade class, and the teacher and the students loved it. They particularly liked the maze as well. So we've done a mini focus group. So we'll do some more, but so far we've done it already. Does anybody have any questions on this particular outreach?
Mr. Chair. Sayed, I've just got one question. I think you have like a trash talking character that is nowhere featured in this, and that just makes me sad.
Yeah, no, I understand. And it's some of what we can and can't do now is based on the communication specialists. Yeah. Trash talk Tom. I thought he went to the landfill though.
Trash Talk Tom is everywhere.
It's everywhere.
I believe his likeness is still owned by the City of Meridian.
Maybe we can put a little him coming out at the corner right here. Anybody else have any comments or have any kids you want to try it on, test it on? I think what was the one that was a little bit more advanced that maybe older kids would get? Was it this one? Okay, so so it'll be somewhat of a range, and I mean, hopefully adults will find it amusing.
Would it be ready for Public Works Week?
I was thinking the same thing, print it out in cardstock kind of stuff and lay it at the booth.
I guess in-house we could. We're not gonna be able to print it, at
Right.
the on the information or the main yard signs.
Right.
But
Right.
I think this one is pretty much ready to go. We can do another look at it, but did you want to have it print off on what size paper, and would you have it, how would you want it displayed?
Mr. Chair, Sayard, maybe we can figure that out offline, but I don't think the yard signs would fit at the booth anyway, all 9 of them. So
Well,
something more piece of paper size.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do the yard signs until
Right,
June
so-
anyway,
Yeah, but
or end of
and then
June,
I wasn't
sorry.
thinking that anyway, because it would
Yeah.
be too big, but we can chat offline about.
Okay,
display
yeah,
it.
no, that sounds great, yeah. And then, depending on if we get those minor things done with the the mailer, we could probably print some of those off and have them at the table as well, at the Republic Service table.
Those pieces look great to me.
Okay, so with that, let me go back to the other slide. So all of this stuff together would cost a total of $16,980.59. So is that something that you guys would like to spend the community recycle fund on? If so, then right now I'm already working on the memo, but then I would work with the chair then to probably present June 21st. And then if they say yes, then right after that, we'll start printing out the material and sending it.
And Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Roddy,
I make a motion.
please do.
Mr. Chair, I move that that we make a recommendation to council to take $16,980.59 of the community recycle fund to be spent on community outreach items presented today.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we go ahead and request council for approval to spend some of the community recycling fund money for outreach activities. Is there any comments or discussion about the subject?
Mr. Chairman, should we round it up to give you a little wiggle room?
Is that okay to, no? Okay, yeah, it has to. I guess not.
Mr. Chair, Sayre, as I recall, the total balance before this expenditure is north of $60,000 in that account. Does that sound correct, or?
I think so. I'm trying to remember what we said.
Had that noted somewhere at some point.
Looks like $68,868.
Fantastic, thank you.
And it looks like you guys approved for the squishy water bottles, actually $2,255. That was before. Okay, so leave it at 2,200. Oh, okay. And this was, I just got this a few days ago from Mubs.
Further comments or debate on the proposed motion? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote, all those in favor of requesting council for approval to finance these activities signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Thank you. I'm sure I speak for staff, and we'll look forward to that presentation.
And Chair, I just want to add, and I believe we don't have to do anything until September, but we could discuss the permanent funding of the squishy water bottle program and how that should be funded. So that can, we have some time, but be on our radar about that.
Very good. So thank you for all that. And that completes our staff program report. So we'll move on to old business, which is fun business, a review of the Recycle a Bike bicycle event. Commissioner Nelson.
We're waiting for a slide to come up here. But we had a great turnout. Turns out that after we had some outreach and some communication, especially when Channel 6 aired some commercials, we ended up with 55 requests to provide a bicycle. It turned out we ended up with people from Meridian, Mountain Home, Cuna, Nampa, Caldwell, Star. And the weather did not work well with us. We had to cancel a lot of work days, and so we were kind of under the gun towards the end. And we kind of learned a few things. We're going to, start the communication earlier. We'll have a better plan next year. This is our first human-oriented event, in 2 years. I was rusty. Interesting enough, though, we did have some bad weather on the Saturday that we gave away the bikes. We had all of our helpers out there had rain, wind, snow, and hail, sun, and then it rotated again. Unfortunately, we only had 19 bikes picked up out of the 55, and 6 or so, maybe more, were actually walk-up folks that saw the bikes, and we were getting ready to pack up, and so we started pulling name tags off and reassigning them and those sorts of things. And then I actually reached out to a lot of the people that confirmed that they were going to pick up bikes. And Rochelle and I went out for a Thursday afternoon and staged all the bikes, and no one showed up that day either. But within minutes, Rochelle had redirected 9 more bikes to another charity organization. And so all the bikes that we fixed are all going to good homes. So it was definitely worth everyone's time to help volunteer and put bikes together, and we'll keep improving it. But thanks everybody for all the help, and Timber Creek for sending folks out there to hang out in the rain. I wish they had more customers. I don't think a lot of folks understood that if they brought their own bikes that they could get some help. So we'll just keep improving the communication and direct people to where we're at. One thing I will do is we've spent so far $188.85 of the money that we kind of proposed spending. And we're going to spend a little bit more. We have a bike stand that helps with repairs. We ordered some tools. I'm going to go ahead and also Sayer's going to help me order a toolbox and 2 or 3 more wrenches that helps with the rusty tires and a few other items. And then we're going to get that all in one toolbox and then inventory it so we can kind of track it and then just store it at Republic Services, so that if you get some time, short notice, you don't have to go home and collect up your own tools, those sorts of things. So I'll be giving her a little bit of a list, spend another $100 or so, maybe more, and then we'll settle up. But thanks again for everybody that came out, and I met all sorts of people at City Meridian that have been helping me between the Parks and Rec and the communications group. And of course, Sayard is like 3 people helping you. So that's awesome. I think that's about all I have. Any other questions? Or we do have, I have tires for somebody in my truck today. And this bike over here, I brought a representative product, but this is actually one that we had some folks actually brought us bikes. We actually collected up a few towards the end where people saw what we were doing and brought us their extra bikes. And this one over here, somebody, they were trying to get us to help them fix it. Instead, they donated that, and we got them something that worked for them. And then we fixed this one, and that's going to go to Joanne's daughter, I think. That's right. And it's pretty cool. But thanks again, everybody.
Members of the commission, any questions or comments on the presentation?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Wright.
Commissioner Nelson, I hope you're ready for more because I got a couple more roll-off boxes ready to go.
Awesome. Speaking of that, we appreciate that Republic Services has let us use so much space out there. We have a lot of bikes. And we parted out, stole chains and wheels and seats from miscellaneous bikes. So here in the next week or two, I'll send out an email, and anyone that can come out and just help us clean up their lot a little bit. We'll take a lot of the old stuff that's ready to be recycled, just to go to metal recycle, and maybe clear out any bins that come our way, and get ready for, she'll continue to give bikes out all summer or all year, usually about 150 plus a year. So we'll keep fixing bikes. We just won't have this event again until next spring.
Chair, I have some pictures that I can show. And then just kind of going off of what Mark said. So luckily they already sent out the dates. So I don't know when exactly the event's going to be, but we already have the range. They're actually going to move it to the next week. So hopefully the weather will improve a little bit. So next year will be May 13th to the 20th. So probably whatever that first Saturday is, I imagine that will be for next year, our event. But yeah, I got good pictures from everybody, and Rebecca Weeks, she sent in some good pictures too from the landfill. So that's Rochelle, and you can hear it. Good picture, Rochelle. So that's you guys moving the bikes to the event, right, from the Meridian transfer station. I don't know if it's a return. That's at the event. That's, testing out the bikes to make sure they work well. And then is this the Meridian?
Yes.
Like-
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me with that photo. Yeah. Meridian Cyclist came out. We weren't expecting him, and he was super helpful. He repaired some bikes that were only repaired as good as I can. And he took it the rest of the way for us. But he's going to be there next year, I think. And we even learned a few things while he was tuning up some bikes. So appreciate them helping out.
Mr. Chair. I did give that bike away to a kid down the street from my house.
After he was done and his knees were sore.
And then Mark was talking about someone who, people who just walked up and saw we had a sandwich board that had to sign. So they weren't sure if we were selling bikes or what. So this dad and his daughter, they weren't scheduled to get a bike. So they really lucked out and got a bike, and I think a free helmet too. And then that's me giving out, we had bike lights that Parks provided for free. So giving bike lights out to kids.
Yeah, we had a few kids that hung out for a while and tried every bike.
Yeah. So this is what it looks like when you're approaching. And it worked out great that the Meridian, that guy was right there. He was right next to us to fix. And then the helmet booth was right. We were all really close together. So that was really helpful. And yep, that's everybody. And it was sunny for a little bit, I guess.
Further comments or questions in regard to the Recycle a Bicycle project? Thank you, Commissioner Nelson. We'll go ahead and move on to new business, and we look ahead to Public Works Week event. Commissioner Larson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the event is on Wednesday, June 8th from 4 to 7. SWAC will have our booth just basically right outside the doors in the place that we have usually been. Republic, Timber Creek, and the city will be outside with the garbage truck. So we'll kind of divvy up the focus of activities. So inside we'll be talking about the things that SWAC has been more closely involved in. The Recycle a Bicycle event. We'll have pictures and be able to talk about that, provide some info on how many bikes have been rehomed. And then we'll talk about the glass recycling at the transfer station, the hand-to-hand, we recycle the cardboard recycling at the transfer station, and the squishy water bottle recycling at the transfer station as well. So focusing on those things. And then outside, the city will be talking about the other aspects of the recycling and trash programs and the other events. So I plan to arrive at about 3:30 to get our table set up and ready to go. And any volunteers that would like to man the table for some period of time between 4 and 7, please let me know.
I'll be there.
Thank you, Mark.
I'll be present also.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I'll go too. I'll be there.
Thank you, Kaylee.
Commissioner Larson, I will also be present.
Thank you, Mr. Audi.
Commissioner Larson, I will also be present.
Thank you, everyone. We will have a full house. It is a fun event. A lot of kids come out. Garbage truck is a big hit, and we get to talk to lots of folks in the community. You want to talk, Sayard, about what's going on outside?
I can, but I just remembered that I was supposed to look for your like trifold thing. So I'll do that this week. And yeah, I think it's downstairs somewhere. Because I don't know when you guys want to update that. Maybe we can pick a time, come in or whatever. And I don't know if you want to put the story stroll on that trifold. Not sure what's on it right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure it'll fit, but we can chat about that and figure it out.
No, I think you hit everything. Yeah, so we kind of sent out we have an email and we'll be talking with Conrad about bringing in some items. So yeah, so outside will be the curbside, basically kind of what the city does, curbside recycling. We'll do the orange bag program, composting grass. Timber Creek will be there and they'll have examples of compost. One thing that the city has some hard hats that they don't want anymore and you can't just give them away. So we're trying to find good reuse. So we actually, one of my coworkers found a reuse idea is to flip it inside out, remove the chin strap and make it into a pot. So we actually, a planter pot. So we have soil and we have a flower. So we'll have that out there with some extra hard hats that people can, do it yourself if they want to do that. And then, we'll raffle off that and then raffle off compost from Timber Creek. And then we'll have, talk about just the trash or treasure and spring cleanup event. Some MRF information about for example, you can bring, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you can bring free already pre-shredded paper to the MRF and you can give it to them for free. You don't have to pay for that. And then just, I have a list now. So if I have time, I'm hoping to make a map, but I'll at least have a list of where all the commodities go from the MRF. Like, for example, our aluminum goes to Kentucky or our cardboard goes to these different states. So just more people connecting. Yeah, and I emailed you guys up at the landfill after I got the list. So just so everybody kind of is connecting, it doesn't just get buried, it goes somewhere, something happens to it. So kind of connecting all the dots.
Sarah, did they say if the shredded paper had to be in paper bags marked shred, or did they say it could just be loose?
Yeah, I asked that too. And the MRF, he doesn't care. It can be in a paper bag, plastic bag, because they dump it out anyway. So it's whatever you prefer. Like if it's paper, he'll just recycle it there and right there. And if it's film, a plastic bag, which I think at the MRF, they take film, but you can always, if you have an orange bag or drop it off at a grocery store or reuse it. But yeah, I asked, you can bring it in both. It doesn't matter.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. I think that's about it. for my side of the stuff.
Any, any further comments or questions in regards to Public Works Expo? Well, thank you for the prep on that. I think it's going to be a fun event.
Chair, I actually have one question for Rochelle. Are we going to do another hand-to-hand painting for this year? Because I know there was talk, I think, last month about it.
Yeah, we can if there's space. I think there's such limited space. I know one of the organizers called us to get exact dimensions of our truck because they said there are more exhibits than there have been in the past. And so he said, I need to know exactly how wide and how long your truck is. I mean, certainly if there's space, that was fun to get reclaimed paint from the HHW facility at the landfill and then have people put their handprints on the container. We'd be totally happy to do that again if you think there's space. We just have to let Eric, who works for us, know, and then he can get one ready for us to deliver.
I'm being told, I guess there's no space, unfortunately, so.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, you want to know, I said our truck is 108 inches wide. He's like, are you sure it's 108? I'm like, oh, wow, there's tight on space. Yes,
Unless
108.
unless we can paint your truck.
Yeah, and there's pretty much a hard no there, but but on the other containers, yeah, if we wind up doing something later, I know Boise did something recently for Earth Day. They did something similar, that not exactly hand in hand, but they sketched a mural and people painted on the mural. So we could always pick, another day like Arbor Day or something like that, and do something fun if there's not space during Public Works Week. That just seems like a natural fit because it's super busy, but we're always available to do one of those events if there's an event that the city's doing.
Okay, thanks.
That completes everything that's on the agenda. Before we kind of start wrapping things up, I want to ask the commissioners to stay available because Sayre's going to take a group photo of us. So we've got something for the next annual report. Before we get to the photo, is there any other announcements that need to be made for the body?
Mr. Chairman, just a quick observation and commendation. My wife and I recently sold a place that we built 20 years ago in McCall and had to reinvest those funds and bought 2 homes in Boise or Meridian near our home, brand new. And you're having Lowe's deliver stuff in furniture stores and Sparklight, everybody. The only organization that could find it and didn't get lost was our Republic Services. They delivered the cans, they picked up the cans, and only the recycle guy struggled a little to find it, but they were the only ones that found it. It's on an existing street that was extended, and they all wanted to turn everybody else down the 26-year-old street, not the brand new one. Way to go.
Oh, thanks for that feedback. We'll have to let the drivers know.
Thank you. Further comments? Okay, well, I will go ahead and call the meeting adjourned at 4:50. And if we could meet, I imagine probably down here by the podium.
Or right here. I think you guys just sitting right here, I think I'll be able to get a group shot. I can try it and see.